Welcome, everyone, to Kimmswick. How about this? Sorry Mary couldn't make it today, but she told us that she's FaceTiming us, so everybody should behave. Okay? Rich LaRusso is my lifelong friend. We met in grade school in 1973, playing on the same Catholic Youth Council soccer team that won the city championship this year. He was the tall guy up front scoring goals. I was the guy in the back trying to keep everybody from scoring on us. Then we worked, and then we both started working in restaurants with him in kitchens and me out front with the customers. He met his wife, Terry, who's here today. How about a shout out for Terry? Yeah. In one of those restaurants, he met his wife, Terry, in one of those restaurants, and they had 2 children as Rich started his own place, which eventually became the award-winning LaRusso's Cucina on the Hill. How about a cheer for that? Yeah. Rich was a guy who led with his heart. He had a great love for family, friends, food, sports, and people. And music, by the way. One time, we worked together on a customer survey for his restaurant. Rich was the kind of chef that would wander around the tables and chat with customers when he could step away from the kitchen. So in the survey, he wanted to know if customers really appreciated it or should he stop doing that. Well, we came to find out that not only did the customers love it, but for those whose tables he did not stop and talk, they were jealous and they were complaining. That's the truth. So obviously he kept doing it. Eventually, Terry left her career as a registered nurse and joined Rich at the restaurant as a hostess and queen of all things in front of the house, where she remains today, steering the ship forward. And if you haven't been there, you need to go. If he had a fault, it's this. He could never say no to a charity in need. If there was a fundraiser, Rich was there cooking for the crowd. Sometimes he let me help. One time at the Zufari, directly across from our booth, was an enormous couple of tortoises. Have you ever seen tortoises have sex? Well, we did. Have you ever heard tortoises have sex? Well, we did. They are loud. We laughed so hard we could barely serve the food, and it went on for 20 minutes. I was jealous. Rich believed that if he could think it up, he could do it. And then he did it. When there was a fundraiser at the new Four Seasons Hotel, he decided that he would actually create a dish during the event. So he brought a bunch of red bricks, built a little oven where he placed sterno pots underneath for heat, and made risotto pescatore, which is an Italian arboreal rice slowly stirred with seafood stock for 20 minutes, and then he added in fresh seafood into the dish. The aroma took over the event, and he was so popular, he was the most popular booth at the show. So obviously that stayed in his repertoire. And it also meant that he was invited to more fundraisers. It got to the point where he was doing several a week, and I suggested he cut back because it was expensive to constantly be donating all his food and time. He told me it was the least he could do. And he never stopped until he had to. And I have to say he was right. Because when it came time that Rich needed help due to ALS, people came crawling out of the woodwork and could not do enough. Several private efforts were made to help, but there was one event called For the Love of the Chef at a private club on the hill where 20 chefs came and served their dishes and desserts. Wine distributors brought hundreds of bottles. A band of his friends played, and his friend John Carney came and joined in. Tens of thousands of dollars were raised, but what I remember most from that was the feeling of love for Rich that poured out for hours from his friends. There were hundreds of people there, and most of us there never experienced anything like it. So in the end, here's the lesson that Rich taught all of us. The love you give is equal to the love you get. Now, we have one more piece of business to do. Rich loved costumes. And I had a costume that he wanted so badly, and he borrowed it for 5 years. So I thought it was time for Fred to come out again. So here's Fred. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. So if I could enlist everybody's help just once, we got to do a real big yabba dabba do for Rich. Okay? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Yabba dabba doo! Thank you all very much. Have a great day.